Here we are. We're live. I love you guys so much. Happy Halloween. You know what? I was going to dress up tonight. I was going to go to the dollar store and buy some horns or something. And then I thought, no, I'm going to go as Hope Hicks. You know, but when I started drawing on those huge eyebrows, I chickened out.
Hope Hicks,
it's the woman, Trump woman that I just couldn't take my eyes off her. She's beautiful, but her eyebrows are like, what? Because that's testified in the January 6th.
She's no longer a friend of his. I don't think.
No. I just I think she was really cool to go and talk bad about her boss. I thought that was neat, but then I couldn't take my eyes off her eyebrows. There's a lot of people with those eyebrows that are.
You can go get them done like that.
No. Oh my God.
And they tattoo them on. I don't know what they do, the whole thing, but it looks like it's too much. I don't know.
I use eyeshadow here.
I do use a pencil, but it I don't know. I just need a little definition.
Oh my gosh.
And you know how makeup is. Some days it's going on well, things are working out. Other days you're like, oh God, why'd I do that?
Yeah. Oh, and I got something to say about that. And look at my new glasses. They're nice. For the computer, so they don't reflect.
Oh wow! I didn't know they had those. That's cool.
Yeah. So that was really fun. I want to say hello to people. So, Zalinda Donna, I said that you got the cookie. I was going to get CJ a cookie too, but then everyone who said that I should give everyone a cookie. Leah says I'm too fat for a cookie.
Oh my God, Leah! No, you're not.
I had a baby donut. Stands best in a baby. Oh my God. Yeah, CJ says, yeah, thank you, Deb, but it's Halloween. You should give everyone everything. Yes, I will. I'm so glad you guys are here. Cynthia Smith is here. Do any of my friends from high school or past ever think of me? Oh, that's a question. I'll star your question as we go. We're going to jibber jabber a little bit beforehand. Yes, you may look at this and say, isn't this Friday? Isn't this Astrology Vibrations, Lalit? And yes, it is. But Lalit had something to do. And at last minute, I said, can you come on my show and speak about the stars?
Of course.
Valerie, I know you know her, Valerie, from Illumination Portal. Please like and subscribe from her channel. She's got really cool stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm reading all the
some days I don't know what I got. What are we doing? That's this energy, right? That's this. Oh, Kaylee's here. Hi, Kaylee. Hi, Maria. Mary Thornberry.
I love this. Debra, can you play your grand piano? I know. So I'm gonna put you aside and show off my house. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take you aside. Oh no, I've got to get it bigger. Now everyone can see my grand piano. This is not my house. It's just a really cool picture of where I would like to live. But with it right behind that fireplace, my head right here in there, that room that has the maid and the butler and the dog walker and the chef. But so that's my new digs. Let me see if I can.
You know, we were just talking about that because Kaylee and I just did a show. We do a show on Fridays, Fearless Friday, and it was about creating the life that you prefer. You know, this energy is all about going in and, I mean, why not? I like it. I love your new house.
I love it too. Oh my gosh. Donna Ortiz.
Your house now is
That's right. I claim it. So be it.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
But all those other guys have to come with. That's all.
that's I don't know
Kiki.
if I could work with staff around. Could you
I
work with
get
staff
used to it. It takes a little while to get used to, just like being a ballerina. You have to practice, practice, practice.
with
Kiki,
ballerina?
Kiki La. Thank
Oh,
you. Gracious greetings. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you, everyone who's a member. I really appreciate the help.
no.
So, okay. So, Linda, she said she reminds, I'm sure this is the Hope Hicks comment. They
Oh yeah,
remind you
yeah,
of caterpillars. Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah, and yeah. I just don't get some things, but who am I? Mm.
Kaylee, you want to come on? Are you too tired to come on?
No.
I'll give you the link. Thank you so much for being here.
He was on there, and the doggies were, they get to a certain point where they
So no
wait
more.
your opinion. And they're like, that's it, Mom. I
Yep.
need all the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Leah's saying, hello, Kaylee. Oh,
we do need treats, Mary Thornberry. Oh my goodness.
what? Oh, yes. Okay. So Donna Ortiz, Lalit told me how to say your name. Look up about 3i Atlas scientist. Do you follow this person?
Yes, I follow all of that very closely. And yes, that's what they do. They hide, withhold information, and they were allowed, let me quote unquote this, because the government shut down, even though they weren't sharing that information like 3 days prior. Then they used the government, United States government shutdown. Oh, that's why we haven't shared anything. And then it was, well, no other country's
I know
taking it. See,
China isn't
nobody was.
revealing it.
Yeah. And then, and now he's being accused. At least he was out there talking about it. But I can see, you know, I don't know. I love Stephen Burns. If you want to follow all that stuff, he really helps you understand in easy to understand terms. And I, I think there's a lot with the science community, because they know a lot more about a lot of things and they don't share with us. So, but the cool thing is 3i Atlas is out of perihelion was 29th and the 30th, and then we're on the 31st. So he's coming away from the sun, and by November 3rd he's going to be by Venus, and we're hoping to see what's going on. Is he still a whole piece? Is he different pieces? Is he a different color? Is he going backwards? I don't know. So we're all like waiting for with bated breath for
Right.
the next this next get close up of 3i Atlas, which really is far away. But I don't know. What do you have any? Did you go in and connect with 3i Atlas at all?
No, I'm just an observer on this one, but I do lean to intelligence.
Yeah.
I do lean to
Mhm.
intelligence. I just saw somebody saying Bashar was saying that it's a natural phenomena with technology attached. I thought, well, that's putting down the center of the road. Sorry, Bashar.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not going
Right.
to let you get away with that. You can
Well,
send this
on
to him.
I can even give you the date because my brother passed that day, the day right before. I was on
Oh,
the 13th. Juno and I were reading on it, and Juno from if you guys know who Juno is,
mhm.
we both, well, I got, it is a sentient being. It is like any of my other crystals here. They all have frequency and they all have information. And based on your level of consciousness is based on what level of understanding you're going to have about it, right? And to me, that's kind of, it's it stayed after. As I try not to listen to too many people, but of course, at a certain point, you're out there and you're searching for this information because everybody shut it down. So you're like, well, what's true? What isn't? So I'm getting that it is a higher consciousness being. It comes around every so often to raise the frequency of our solar system. That's what I got. It is coming in to raise the frequency. There's a little bit more than that, but I don't know if you want me to go into all that. It was pretty cool because it answered a question I had asked my guides like 15, 20 years ago. And
Oh.
yeah, so that was really cool. So I was like, because they showed me the whole conversation, you know how you guides do, and I'm like, well, what does that have anything to do? But I was asking my guides at that time. I was very upset about, humans being abusive to humans and things like that, and how do we get out of that? And they were showing me that first of all, not everybody is heart centered and soul centered, which I didn't know that until then, but that there is a frequency being beamed onto Earth from outside of Earth that has it's like an interference. It interferes with a lot of beings. And they said who are not connected to their heart and soul. And they, and this, in fact, this was right as Neptune was going into Pisces 14 years ago. And they said, this is going to create a lot of illusion, delusion, confusion, and you're going to really see a separate, a big division with humanity. Well, I didn't realize it was going to get this big. I mean, I kind of did, but I really was hoping that we'd all come together and have some sort of kumbaya moment, but that's not happening because of the division. But that division is because of that frequencies being beamed. And they kept showing me the satellites, and certain satellites pick up certain frequencies, and they're just constantly being beamed onto Earth. And I'm like, well, how come that's not happening to me or other people, or is it happening? And I don't know, it's not happening. And they said, no, you are pretty clear because you're connected to your heart. You have a connection with us where, so I was like, okay, well, can I go shut off the frequency? And they said, no, that's not your job. And I was a little peeved about that.
I am. I can.
I want this shit to end. I'm so sick of everybody hating each other and fighting and all this and that.
It's
right?
supposed to be this way because people were not using their brains to discern good from bad. That morality has been lost. And so the only way you can do it is to regain that in a quick way is this.
And I get that. I do get that. And you and I have a lot of conversations about this. So when I was talking about Three Eye Atlas that day, they showed me that conversation. And what they showed me, because this is going to sound crazy, sorry, but this is what I see. I was going around with the dragons in space, and we kept like every time we went out, we were like spraying this gold sparkly fairy dust everywhere that we went throughout the solar system, right? So they showed me that, and I'm like, why are you showing me that? And they're like, that is what's going to stop the frequencies that are being beamed onto Earth. That sparkly gold fairy dust, which is called something else that I don't have the name for, that is emitting off of Three Eye Atlas as we speak. It's like it's a frequency disruptor. I just happen to see it as gold sparkly fairy dust, right? In something I did with dragons way before, because I've been for a long time trying to clear the energy off the planet because of all the hate. And they kept saying to me, it's just going to get worse. And I'm like, well, I'm going to stay in my heart and I'm going to help it. Well,
that's why you're exhausted.
I'm just here and I'm just listening. So I got so excited because I was like, oh my God, the frequency disruptor is here, and maybe we're going to get a reprieve from all the hate. We'll see.
Yeah,
But
we will. Everything changes, right? So Maria is grateful, said that she is getting messages from Atlas. So if you have something you can put in the comments, we'd like to hear if you have one.
yeah, please. Yeah, it's a very I get it's more of a divine feminine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um and
that's Aquarius, isn't it?
yeah, and look, what's Aquarius? What's the card show us? Is taken and he's pouring the water on to the earth, right? But his hand or her hand is up here, gaining that higher knowledge and pouring it onto earth. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I see it. And you know what? That's the first time I connected it to Aquarius when you said that. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. She comes in and changes things.
yes, she does. And Deborah is an Aquarius, got a stellium in the 12th house. I have a rising Aquarius, but we all have Aquarius in our chart somewhere. And this is all and every time I read any of our charts, I see a significant Aquarius placement there because that's what we came here and we were going to wake up later in life and here we are doing our thing, right?
Doing our thing. Absolutely.
Change them as they need so we can elevate and advance. Absolutely. It's time to elevate. That's what ascension is. We are evolving. I mean, we've always been. It's been very slow. It's on the slowest thing, you know, button there is
People
now.
who people who hate or are looking for a fight most of their day. I guess I sometimes do that when I'm
Okay.
short tempered. It's not all day. But some people kind of just rest in the knowledge they can think up something more to put in the way of someone's success. Um,
I see. I don't understand it.
there, I don't understand it either, but it's here. And I know that it's frustrating because I always think if I just knew why they did it, then I could maybe understand and be more loving towards that person. But
Okay,
it's
now see, I figured that out. Well, not to an extent. I'm not saying I figured out everything because I don't know anything. Let's be honest. I do
stop it.
not
You
know
know a lot.
anything. But uh, when I would be like, what is making that person do that? I would always get visual of their childhood or
Yeah.
some sort of other life, and then I could, I did have empathy. I do for people. I don't understand the hate, and I, you know, so I was like, well, I can't do nothing about this. I can't even be helpful. It's not because I'm also uh, suggested, I was going to say told, they also suggest, you can't tell anyone what to do. That's not your job, right? So what do? I send them pink plasma clouds of unconditional love and truth. That's all I
And
can
then
do.
they automatically turn into a 2-year-old that won't take a nap. That's what they do. I mean, was it, well, I don't want to be nice.
I have to, and then well, sometimes it depends. I might have to triple layer some energies
That's
on it.
right.
Oh,
That
it's
you will take
that.
a nap. Look,
Oh my gosh. No,
hello.
I didn't think you would come in. I thought you were sleeping, and you had a lot to say.
You guys went like 2.5 hours or
Yeah,
something like that.
it was a long it didn't feel so long until,
Oh,
a little bit into it, I got a sort of scattery kinda energy for a
Yeah.
bit, and as soon as I got all that scattery, it was like, "Come on, come back, come back, come back."
It's hard to reclaim that. Um,
the
oh,
scattery
here's,
has been coming in though. The scattery from the sun, all the solar activity. Like yesterday, Kaylee and I were talking, and it just like, man, the energy was just so off. I was like, I don't know. They told me they suggested, they don't like when I say so, to create our show, and I posted it, and then all of a sudden I got no, you're not, we're not doing the show. And I'm like, what is going on? So it was like an interference came in towards me, right? And you got to think about that in the moment. Something goes, I'm like, wait a minute, my gods, and I just did this whole show. We just made it. Why would they be doing this? And it was like, all of a sudden they came in and they're like, just let this energy play through because there's a lot out here, the parasites and that kind of stuff that Kaylee and I talk about a lot. Is out and about and looking for a place, I guess.
And yay, Seb says, this is amazing. All three of you at the same time. And I don't know what to do now. I'm so happy.
I love the glasses, Deborah.
I went in and got some for the computer where they have that. You can still see my eyes through it so I'm very excited about that.
Well,
things now.
Well, we actually co-opted your Ask All Questions, the caps thing. So I hope you keep doing it. It's your signature.
Absolutely. I'm going to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy Halloween, everybody.
This is great.
I have a little pumpkin. I see you have a little pumpkin.
Oh, that's a cute one. You know what that reminds me of? I'll tell you. It's Whoville.
Yes.
Whoville pumpkin.
That's exactly what I thought too, Deborah. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta have that. It's so cute.
Yeah. I love it. So Linda Bishop says the power of three. Yes. Yes. The power of three. So as far as now, usually traditionally we have a little rundown on people are looking forward to a little rundown on astrology, how it's going to affect. We probably
I can do that.
Some of that.
Oh goodness, yeah. We're in a really crucial moment. Good moment. It's a good moment, but
a big moment.
Yeah.
Just like what we were talking about, trying to not kill everyone.
It's Scorpio season, right? And Scorpio season pulls out the stuff that most people don't want to look at and deal with and things like that. And, we all have, like I was just saying a minute ago, we all have Aquarius in our chart. Well, we all have Scorpio somewhere in our chart. And that is being activated because the sun is in Scorpio, but we also have Mars in Scorpio, Black Moon Lilith, and Mercury just left Scorpio, but that is, we'll go into that in a second. But Scorpio season is about pulling out the ick, getting rid of parasites, whether, we all carry stuff on our energy fields if we're not aware. Like I clean my energy every day, and I think most people here do. They do some sort of meditation and take care of themselves. But that's definite in Scorpio season, because Scorpio is about boundaries, is about putting the protection bubbles on, or whatever you do to go in and give yourself that, because we're in it,
I've done it with sound. Now I did get a beautiful I'm not doing it justice if I just say it's a chime, wind chime, because it's one of those big ones, the real big ones. It's like going to a monastery. Boom, boom. And it just clears my house. That tone is wonderful. And I have been using some scents as well to clear out.
It's perfect. I love that deep tone that I can feel it. That deep, like, bass inside of you, and it just kind of clears all that.
That's right. That's right.
But we have that going on. But this week, we had All Hallows Eve. We have Halloween today. We have Souls Day, All Souls Day, Day of the Dead. I'm saying these things wrong. And on the 5th, which I always forget, but I was reminded, is Guy Fawkes Day in Britain, where they go in and they throw, close down Parliament, depending on how you look at it. Did Parliament get, because they wear all the face masks, like Anonymous.
Okay, yeah.
Guy Fawkes Day. I'm not saying his name
Can
right.
you say it right? I mean, can you say it slowly? Because it says at False Day. What's that?
It's Guy.
Die?
Guy. G-U-I.
Guy.
G-U-I. G-U-I. Guy Fawkes. F-A-L-K-E-S.
Ooh, Falk. Guy Falk.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is, pretty much standing up for your sovereignty, right? Freedom. And that's another thing Kaylee was brought up. We were talking about being your sovereign self and staying in your power, because it's F-A-W-K-E-S. I'm sorry, folks. I always think there's an L in there, and there isn't. But that is basically not anonymous. We're not going to put up with this what you're feeding us. We're not accepting it.
Is that it?
Yes. Thank you, Linda.
Linda's so smart.
Everybody is.
Everybody's so smart.
Yeah. Beautiful souls. So this is a powerful week. And I think, I know I've been saying this a while. We can all feel something's coming. I always got the inner understanding that it would be during Scorpio season, because we have yesterday Mercury left Scorpio, right? But right now he's opposing. We have Mercury in Sagittarius at 0 degrees opposing Uranus in Gemini at 0 degrees. So they're right across from each other on the wheel. Now that is inspiration, technology, that downloads. It could be glitches in your computer, information of all kinds from everywhere. So they're just kind of sitting there like that. But I think it's 2 weeks from now, what happens, Mercury in Sagittarius will stop and retrograde back into Scorpio. So see, there's where our first clue is, well, probably the second or third clue, because something, when he was in Scorpio season this last month, has been overlooked and needs to go back and be re-examined. So that's how I look at it. So, and then as that happens, Venus will be in Scorpio. So we'll have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury retrograde. Mercury will be retrograde in Scorpio, and that is going to be revelatory. Is that the word? I'm hearing that word.
I like that word.
Is it you brought that word up earlier, revelation.
Revelation. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. But that's the rest of this year is about us claiming our personal power and our sovereignty.
Everyone gets a cookie tonight, Marby.
See, you want me? I'm hungry.
Leah told me I should give everyone one. It's Halloween.
I want all the candy.
You get a cookie. You get a cookie. You get a cookie. Didn't want to be stingy.
No, I don't have any cookies or candy. No, I can't believe I did that.
This is the day you can overeat it, because it just doesn't count. It's a holiday.
That's right.
Holiday food doesn't, no calories.
And empty calories. Says right there.
No. Cookies are a vegetable. Are you kidding me? Pizza, pepperoni pizza is pepperoni's a vegetable.
Oh, pizza sounds really good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So Kaylee, what's up? Buttercup?
I don't know how long they'll give me peace, but the dogs are being sort of settled right now. So joy. I have a little thought. I don't know about if we want to look ahead a little bit. I don't want to talk too much about it, but coming up on November 20th, there's an alignment that kind of caught my eye. And here's what I'm thinking about. Truly, Uranus is such a big event when it changes signs. As
Yes.
it's going back, dipping back into Taurus for a last time, we're looking at something that's like, I got to finish up. I'm finishing up some business in that earthly realm, that
Mm-hmm.
more earthy feeling realm. Taurus is going to have a lot to say about, well, monetary matters, um, stability and structure. And Uranus is, a paradigm. How it likes to operate is to shake things up. And thank goodness it's actually humanitarian in nature. So we can find a lot of folks discovering worth in their stuff, in their material, as well as their moral values that maybe is kind of significant. Why I'm drawn to November 20th is the sun is going to be opposing Uranus, and it'll actually probably be in the wee hours of the 21st, depending on where you are in the world. And then it's also going to be in a trine to Neptune. And
Mm-hmm.
these are some pretty major energies that are right there at the 29 degrees, the critical degrees. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're talking about some care for this that I do want to mention, like, walk lightly in that energy, walk lightly in it. The opposition kind of has a potential to bring sudden, unexpected change. Align yourself a little bit along the lines of that Neptune trine, because a trine is an opportunity for a harmonious flow of energy. What it is, though, is it inclines us just a little bit towards laziness, and that we sort of feel like everything's easy. Now, what I want to suggest is Neptune relates to intuitive abilities, the spirit, the soul. It relates to refining things in a higher octave. Think of it as we're heading into that time frame.
Thank you
Schedule in
so
your
much.
mind, I'm going to really walk with spirit in that time. I'm going to really walk with spirit. If there's any sudden change, I want to be so in alignment with spirit, I'm harmoniously affected by it. We like that we have a little bit of a sort of an ability to look ahead and notice how the weather is going to be. And that would be, this is just the good idea. Think about it like I'm walking with spirit through that time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like that's gonna. I mean, we're in it. We've been in it, right? And it's just gonna get tighter and tighter until I'd say the end. Well, the end of January. I mean, we're gonna start. All the planets will be going direct. Things will feel a lot lighter. We're going into that in 1 year, right? We're in a 9 year, so all of that is coming up, right? On February 20th, 2026 is when Saturn and Uranus come back together at 0 degrees Aries,
Oh
which is
boy.
the first degree of the zodiac. So it's like usually spring equinox. So we are going into a new era. But getting to that, like we just got to look at these last few months as you're going to stretch us and pull us, and you know it,
I
it can
think
be.
the stretch and pull, though, if I may, I think the stretch and pull is worse for people who haven't worked on themselves. We don't want to say that everybody's going to have a dumpster fire of a life. I know that's not what you mean, but we have been through, the people who have worked on this topic for a long time. I want to give everybody credit for all they've done, and that's a lot of work. And I'll tell you, it's like the work is this. And thank you, Seb, for this sweet, generous donation. I really appreciate you. Um, when we work, we align ourselves to what we think is true, subjectively, not objectively, subjectively, what's true for us. And we try it on, and we live with that theory. We are filtering all of our experience, all of our information through that theory of new thought, whatever that new thought might be. And then you will find, if that new thought holds true, holds water, holds true in every part of your life, then it is true. It is something you can take and use. And and stand on firmly. In other words, it'll have your back kind of thing. But if you take on a thought that doesn't keep holding water, but then you just let it go. People who don't let it go, who insist that the guru over here said one thing and that guru over there said the same thing, even though I don't see where it fits in my life, I'm going to go ahead and try it on and make it work, kind of hammer it backwards, sandpaper people into what you want to see, that type of thing. And that's the hard part for caregivers and light workers. And we've done that. We have
Yeah.
We're
But
experts at it.
yeah, we are experts at it, but we're going to be watching all these new people waking up, right? So we're there to guide.
And this is what, yes, and we need to be present.
Yes.
Speak up when someone has a question or is lost. Go ahead and introduce yourself. If you see someone lost, how can I help you? That type of thing, because we hold the right combination of words to serve someone well. And I got to tell you, once the penny drops on a truth, once it does get inside of you, you feel so much better about life, and because it's strong. Truth is very, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
I was like saying, truth resonates. It rings like a bell long after falsehood has fallen silent. Just keep listening.
Yeah, and I know that the stars are doing crazy things, and but I got to tell you, sometimes when I look back, I will read my horoscope from a month ago or 2 weeks ago, and it says on my horoscope, it's going to be a dumpster fire all week. And I never had the dumpster fire. I walked through, it's fine. But so whatever you hear that disturbs you, pay attention and get in the idea that, well, we'll see about that. We'll see how that happens. Don't work like you're in fear of anything coming, because there's a moon is somewhere or a star is somewhere. But
it's just having the awareness, right?
Having the awareness to say, but when you have the awareness, this is what I want to say. Instead of having the awareness, oh crap, here it happens. It's starting now. And I'm going to name Mercury for this part, and this, I'm going to name all that's wrong, because everything that's wrong has to have a really good reason for it to be wrong. So if that awareness brings you to that, you could do a little better by just being the observer and say, oh, that's what Val was talking about. That's what Valerie and Kaylee were talking about, and remain the observer. And isn't that interesting? And not get caught up. Maybe I'm being too strong with my words. I'm sorry if I've offended anybody. I stand by every word I say, though.
No, I think that's perfect, because that's how you navigate properly, is by being in a neutral observer and understanding.
That is because my life got so effed up when I didn't. When I'm not the observer, and this is my message to everybody, just try it on, because I made so many mistakes because I allowed my emotions. I declared my emotions as my intuition. Well, I feel so strongly about this. It must be right. It's spirit telling me. I feel that. Well, I got in big trouble. So I don't know why I got onto that rant.
Well, and don't you find that that's kind of cycles throughout life, right? Like, I know there was, I'm certainly not making perfect decisions now, but there was a time where I really was not making any good decisions, right? But then as you become that neutral observer, and your feelings are your navigation system. The thing is, we're not taught how to regulate those feelings. That's where the maturity in the later in life comes into play, right? So then you can. But up until then, yeah, I used to think, oh my God, I feel this way about, say, some guy, right? Well, it just totally down the wrong path.
Yeah, the thing is that I know that our feelings can be, our emotions can be our guidepost,
Mm-hmm.
and to be separate from them is to be a light worker, to be wrapped up and have those emotions drag you behind the car.
Mm-hmm.
That is a place that we've lived a long time with. And if we don't recognize that there's a better way, sometimes we get caught up in that. But it was a long time before I realized that emotion
Yeah,
stuff.
me too.
But
Yeah, I'm with you there. Um, and and that's why I think there's a lot of us, like, we wake up in shifts, right?
yeah,
And how many people did you come in contact with that helped you further unlock the who you are, inside of you, the mysteries of you, and how many times now have you helped someone else unlock the mysteries inside of them? And this is the cool thing. So we're kind of like at the front. We are the front line.
yeah.
Most definitely.
Everyone here.
Yeah. And at the same time, we're healing, because I'm not saying healing ever ends, right? But we get to a certain point. Okay, we've done all this healing. What would you like to create? Let's create something. Let's create the new world. That's what I'm being guided. That's why I'm bringing it up. Let's create the new world. What does that look like? And I sit here and I'll be honest with you. Some days I'm like screaming at my guides, going, "Well, how in the world can you create anything with all this?" Yeah,
It's how you can serve. That's how you create.
yeah, and
Where you can serve.
yeah, and it's like, and then they let me calm down, and they'll be like, "Oh, what would you like to experience?" And I'm like, "Well, peace on earth would be my first thing, if we could have anything, or at least, um, yeah, I understand that there's got to be, not conflict. What's the word I'm looking for? Contrast, okay, to grow. But can we get rid of the evil? I mean, the just heartless, soulless, despicable. Like, how can you hurt a child or an animal? How can you hurt anything? Just that is. I'm really just sick of it. My whole life I've been sick of it.
Well, we could point out that Mr. Trump does not feel he's going to heaven. So what does he get? He gets this little window of time to try to get all the goodies, because he doesn't want to think about what's after. And I guess that's how come he just doesn't care that much about other people, because he notices that a lot of us are getting things he's not going to get. We're going to get happy stuff. And he's all like, well, I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I don't think it's heaven. And I'm not saying I know like what's going to happen to him after he goes away, but I don't imagine he's stepping right into eternal bliss. I don't imagine he is.
Right. But I get he's not even, he's heartless and soulless. So whatever that means. Well, okay, my guides are showing me, and they are usually transformed and transmuted into the energies and put back into the soup, let's say, right? Kind of. But I mean, how long? I know. I'm what, 64. I've been watching this as a child. I knew where there was unfairness and liars and just all of it, and I'm just so sick of it, so sick of it. And this is really kind of like the culmination point, right? So it's kind of hammering down on us. and we're like, come on, there's got to be something to release that pressure, right? So that's what I sit here and wait for. And as I'm waiting, I'm guided to send out love and be kind and help where I can. And
Absolutely.
that's all we can do. Love your animals and your friends and your
My
family.
community. My
Community.
community. I just wanted to remind everybody that we are on a planet of free choice, and we get to have free choice after we're off the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there is something on this planet you just can't live without, you would be frozen in that moment. So I picture maybe the orange one kind of haunting the Nazis of the world that are whatever few are left over. Go steal that. Well, that's a good opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd almost become a little Lucifer or something. Like,
A
oh,
little devil, is it?
I hope he has like really miserable luck with it, and then he's just always frustrated, like eternally frustrated. He's trying to get him to do bad.
You can't
and then
earn your own money. I mean, if he can't.
He seems like he's going to fail in every promise he ever made. So I do hope he keeps. You know what? That's a neat thought. That's a neat idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. That's what you're talking about. The heart. Go ahead.
I promise you success if you go to this nefarious thing and then they completely fail, and they fail every single time because he can't keep his promises and they can't satisfy him. So,
yeah.
Not that I'm wishing that intentionally.
But this circles back to what Val and you were talking about with the heartless, soulless people. That's who we want to be aware of around us. And they like the people who die and want to choose to stay. They don't have a God spark anymore. There's no line to heaven because they're dead, and they choose to stay on the earth. And so the vibration is going to stay the same. It's hard for them to get up. That's why if you feel there's a ghost in the house or something, this is why they say, just bring in the light and see if they can see it, that type of thing to help them over. But it gets harder and harder when you don't have a body. When you don't have a body, it gets harder and harder to lift out of 3D once you're dead. The longer you're on planet without a God spark. I feel bad for that.
And you go through, yeah, I feel bad for it too. But they will eventually.
They can choose different.
They can choose
any minute.
Yeah. So and that soul, right, is on a soul level is, I believe, choosing that, and again. I don't know why people choose what they choose, but what was I going to say? When you were saying, oh geez, as we're at the end of this year, we have Saturn and Neptune both in Pisces. Neptune is sitting on the very last degree of the zodiac, 29 degrees Pisces. Like Katie was saying, there's 29 is a critical degree, and there's a lot, 29 zeros and ones. They're very close together. And that is to crack us open. That is to trigger a different thought, a different belief, a different perception, a different way to go forward, make a different choice. Oh, that's what you were talking about, Kaylee, when I think it's on the 7th, Uranus goes back into Taurus, right? Now, Uranus is in Gemini right now. Is pretty brilliant, but he's retrograde. Not saying he's not, but he's going over things.
He pulled in, and now he's like, let me think about it for a minute.
Yeah, let me think about it. But now he's going to go back to Taurus and say, oh, cool, I'm back here in the physical. Let me think about what it is I really want to create in the physical, because he's going to have that those thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions coming back online when he goes back into Gemini, and he's going to get he's going to know this is what I want to create, pretty much. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
Katie.
always feel like he's going to come in a little bit along the lines of, I'm being a force of nature that's contemplated this sign for a long time now. And I just had time to think it over for a bit in the fresh air of Gemini. And I want to come back in. I want to culminate the achievements that I've got in myself, in my heart.
Yeah.
For the duration, for the rest of the time, I'm moving on to another type of energy. So I'm going to take care of this one in a very intense way.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what I want to say, though, that when he backs up, right, because he's at 0-degree Gemini right now, he is also going to back up to that 29-degree, like Neptune is that. And when Uranus moves, the world feels it. Like it's usually, and I'm not saying this to be scary or weird, but it's, earthquakes, things like that.
Revolutionary change.
Revolutionary, but that's a ruler of Aquarius. And so I was just getting ready to say, and this is what we really, really need right now. We need that burst of energy coming back in and go, wait a minute, I'm not letting anyone take, because you're in your mind when you're Gemini and you're in Uranus, and they're just like brilliant, creating the next best thing. But then he stops and he goes back into Taurus and he says, wait a minute. I'm being restricted and I wasn't paying attention. Now to me, that has a lot to do with our freedom, right? And our rights. And he's just going to be like, I don't think so. We're going to flip this script all the way around, because that's what you want to discuss, But to have two big outer planets at 29 degrees, we got Saturn's at 25. Jupiter on the 12th is going to go retrograde at 25. And we got Chiron at 24 retrograde. This is a lot of deep emotional healing, of release. You can only go to the end of the zodiac, and then it starts all new on the 20th of February. But the last time, they can't even find the last time these two were together at that degree. And I've been digging around for it, and it's nowhere to be found. So this is truly a new era for us, and everything.
Think differently, choose differently. And I want Honey Jim Hart says he is in the dark. We're talking about Trump now. He is in the dark, standing in the spotlight, and then there is the dark that isn't yet in the spotlight. They are the ones who need to be brought out of the darkness, I feel. And so we're not going to, but nobody's going to go in and bring them out. They're going to choose to stand in the light. So that's the kicker. We can't go as an army and just say, get enlightened right now and love people. We could say that, but it's their choice. And the thing is, with all the disruption we have now, it's pointing at this critical thinking that people have that haven't put it into action, the critical thinking into action. But once your life is changed because somebody is taking your food away, in fact, somebody said online, the Democrats are trying to save your health care, and the Republicans say your Democrat is trying to save your health care, and we're going to take away your food until they say that take away your health care.
Yeah, twist your arm, hold them hostage.
Yeah,
and I don't want them. I hope they keep it shut down. I don't want to.
The thing is that the pain and suffering that's happening is going to trigger something organic in our humanness. And that will always be change. Is it going to be change for good? Is it going to be change for bad? That's subjective. It could be good for you or bad for you. I don't know. But for me, revelations like that have always been good for me. And so
And a judge has said that they got to disperse the SNAP benefits, is what I've seen. Now, he doesn't listen to the judges, so we'll see how far they want to push it. A couple of them are screaming, we don't want to give them a SNAP. I don't know that. It's just like, how can you even say stuff like this? Like this, they're showing who they are. They are showing their heart.
And that's good, even though
Yeah.
it infuriates us.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets to see who they are instead, because all of this used to be, under the carpet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not anymore. And yeah, it drives us crazy. We think every day is a dumpster fire. But if we look at it a different way, that people are right up to the edge. And for us, we have techniques. We have our true north.
Mm-hmm.
And we have each other, all that stuff. And a lot of people don't have us, don't have what we have. And so then it gets kind of crazy outside.
Yeah. And it's got to go the way it's going, right? Because once a lot of the MAGA crew realize how duped they've been, they're the ones that are going to be volatile, and you can't blame them. I know I've been, watching it for a long time, and it makes me very angry to see how duped we've all been, by quote unquote leaders, so, and that's, go ahead.
Wasn't it Eisenhower that gave the speech giving us the warning about the military-industrial complex?
Mm-hmm.
That he said yes to.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, well, I wasn't around back then, but I do notice that we've had a conscious understanding available for a good long while that essentially that there is something within our own system to be wary of. And I feel as though we got a little bit careless. And I mean, TV, the opiate of the masses, and our in-hand crack is so much worse. I mean, we're definitely very easily made to look away, and we have for a long time. And it's only when it starts actually having the material consequences that we're observing now.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, in this country, that's what so many people are still just mind blown about. This is when it starts to become clear, we got to see, are we in time? And shall we be ready in a way we didn't anticipate? Mm-hmm. Is it hopeful that we will discover that nonviolent resistance is the key to creating the world that we want? It's certainly been the driver of some of the greatest achievements in all the world. So I sure hope that we discover that that's the lesson worth keeping. That's the one worth holding on to. And then we get to clarify for ourselves what it means to have a world that doesn't have godlike power invested in hands that don't deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's important.
That is. So one of the reasons why our government has that secret spot, because Eisenhower went to a meeting and he came back to his desk and cried. Then he made that announcement. So that people forget
about the meeting.
Huh?
What do we know about the meeting?
Meeting was with the generals, the military, and the visitors on this planet, because he was way into UFOs, way into aliens.
Oh, that brings up something fun, but I want to hear the rest of this.
And so he went, and I think what made him cry was because they all decided to shield the general population of the world, the information they're getting from the extraterrestrials, because they don't have the extraterrestrials do not want to share gravity control. They're not doing that, but fiber optics and all the stuff what we enjoy now with our phones and everything else, that's all from off planet. If you look at the timeline that we've had, when I was a kid, I was ironing each and melting buttons, I mean, and now I'm here with a computer at my fingertips. So that we're not smart enough as a species to go that big, right? That now with that agreement comes the extraterrestrials can use our planet as a way station to be able to fix their ships when they need it, because deep space ships need a way station. And we have the resources. Now, the military, if a commander goes to someone and says, here are the dimension, an engineer, here's the dimension, I want you to use this nickel and aluminum and, whatever it is, all these elements, and I want you to make it in this form. Well, the person doesn't know what they're making. They don't know they're participating in fixing a spacecraft. They know that what's in front of them. And so this exchange, so as bad as we'd like to think this dark government is, and I believe it's bad, it's got, because, that little power, you need more power, that one, I think it's gone way too far. But disclosure is right around the corner. And once that lid comes off, and then this becomes common knowledge that this is what, but they exchanged it, and the extraterrestrials did not give us any information that doesn't serve them. So the fiber optics, educating us about fiber optics, let's say, serve them because they need it for their spaceships. So,
well, and if you go back to Uranus and Taurus in the 30s, radar was invented. Like, we make these leaps in innovation, right? And I do believe it is from a higher source, an outside source. But the way I'm getting is we're at a critical point that if you are of partners in Solus, if you're nefarious, there's a lot of information that is definitely being withheld from that because of the damage that you could cause. I mean, we can cause damage now, and if it wasn't for them who have stopped nuclear bombs going off, because it rips holes in space and time. So this is kind of where we're at, and this is here. This ascension period has been in a lot of ancient texts. They call it the golden age. You're evolving is what it is, but there's a demarcation point. Like when I was saying Neptune went into Pisces and we started seeing the division, and it just it's worse and it's worse and it's worse, and it's illusion, confusion, delusion, and that there's a certain core group that are just not, and I don't want to judge anybody, I really don't, but they are not going to evolve this time, and that's okay because it's on a soul level. It's not like I'm doing it to them or someone else is doing it to them. It's their soul. So, but for the rest of us to raise in frequency, you have to be of a certain connection to your God source to do that. Part of
I agree that's our subjective truth. I do believe that. On the flip side, when people that aren't as spiritually lofty as me, but when people go in and figure out how truly corrupt our government is, they have that warrior thing. So I'm not one personally to go in and start funding legal matters so they could take the government to court. There are minds out there that are developed and on the planet for that service. I'm here to raise the consciousness. You two are as well, to raise the consciousness, because we hold the light and the vibration that people will need to follow through with why they came here. And there's going to be people in the government that are going to finally crack and turn on the government and wash out the corruption. I'd be curious to see what, when it sort of feels like before Ukraine had Russia mess it up, there was a big regime change with Zelensky, right? He replaced a very corrupt person. And I'd be curious what the stars were like when, like, just before, like at the buildup of his inauguration, Zelensky's inauguration. And
when was it?
Yeah. Do you have a date? We can find out.
Just when he was elected in.
Zelensky elected.
Find out.
Because the masses said no more corruption.
Yes.
That's what we're doing right now. We're saying no more corruption.
But you see how it's like started slower in other places, because let's face it, America is the crown jewel, or they were.
Yeah,
right?
not anymore.
Because of the corruption. So the corruption is what's going to knock you down a few pegs. And people like Zelensky are going to raise it, because he is raising his country in frequency, even though he's in a war, and it's, I'm at this, I guess I'm being hopeful,
Yeah.
within a year or so, like everybody is at this, oh my goodness, we can see it so clearly. It's so dirty. I mean, it really is. Like, everybody's just so dirty. Like, why are we going to continue on with that? So I feel like there's going to come that culmination point, I guess is what I'm trying to say, where people are just like, we don't want this anymore.
Well, the good news is that Zelensky is a 33.
Yeah.
And Alexei Navalny was a 33 life path. That's the full you get to see the full potential of a master number.
Wow.
Not that every 33 listening to me now has to be the president of Ukraine. That's not your job, but that was their job, and they moved into the full potential of that. That's the.
It looks as though his victory was secured by around April 2020 something, 2019. I just read an article dated the 21st saying he won in a landslide. I guess it was after they held elections and there was no winner the month before. And Sun was really close to a conjunction with Uranus and Taurus. Sun had just entered Taurus. What's jumping out? Saturn and Pluto were quite close. Saturn at 20 degrees Capricorn, Pluto at 23. And they're both straddling the nodes. They're both straddling the South Node.
Remember the conjunction in 2020 that brought in the pandemic? That was Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter conjunction. That was never that. I think the last time that occurred was like 800 years ago, and it was during a pandemic. I can't remember exactly. I mean, this is what I'm saying. You can't make this up. So he just gets elected at that time where, okay, the pandemic starts shortly after. He's got Russia blowing him up. I mean, he's gone through a lot, right?
Yeah, but it's the people, but the masses. So we are here saying Trump and Zelensky and all that stuff, looking at the top of the line. It's the people that made the difference of Ukraine. And so to that.
There you go.
Yeah, there you are.
Lost your voice for a second.
Oh. I would like to. Did you
It
hear
just went muffled, like your sleep might have been over something. I don't know.
what's that?
It just went muffled for a second.
Just for a second.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, and that's what's going on here. That now we can, but we're being, I think, tricked. Okay, and here's where the frequency interference comes in. That's already being, put on the planet. We have Neptune and Pisces at the last degree, which is just, and what's true, what's not. That's pretty much the question there, right? And even though it's at the end of that, he's clearing it out. What is true? What is not? It's really important that we figure that out. And, he's not going to really have that answer until he moves back into 0 degrees Aries. But in the meantime, we're all being, and you can see it with people, we're all being confronted with the most horrific evil, and things are, I mean, just awful things people are saying to each other in our nation, right? That divide is so thick. So, I mean, so obvious is what I should say. It's just so obvious now. Like, you can see people, you can feel people's vibration, but then they speak up, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did you want to kidnap children? How did you get to that position that you're kidnapping people off the street and just,
Racist.
man, I'm telling you. So but that's what's being really shown to us right now. It's in our face, and it's so we can discern who's who. It's really important.
Yeah. I do want to acknowledge that I thank the Holy Spirit. We don't have to worry so much about who's who when we already know. We do have to observe that there are a lot of people who don't know. And why they don't know sometimes is because they they really just don't care to hear it. And sometimes they could be really good people, good human beings whose souls have been a little bit disconnected from who they really are. And we do have to hope that we can somehow, on purpose, sense where a person is struggling to maintain their connection, their God spark, where they're struggling to do that and they're trying to do it. Oh, it's heartbreaking to think about leaving them hanging. I mean, maybe we could help there. I want to be aware of it. Like, we soon enough have a cause to celebrate a lot more people jumping towards the light. I think we do. And I thank the Holy Spirit. Let them be people that we can assist however we're able to. And so we got to strip from ourselves some of our ideas, condemning people who so far have been blind. Since so many of them have been trying real hard to maybe not see. We think of them as being aligned with the Nazis. But we think
I like that.
they may try real hard to come around, and if we can just extend a hand in kindness and as much in love, there will be a really, really good reckoning for us to be looking toward.
Sure. And it is, but at this point, right, how many, I mean, let's face it, for the last 30 years, we've been trying to extend the grace. We understand you don't understand quite yet that, taking care of everybody would be beneficial for the world. Well, there's people who don't care. They don't want a peaceful world. And that took me a long time to understand that there's just people who honestly don't have any, and you can see I've seen many of them die like that, believing that. And yeah, I want to be there for when people say, okay, I see the point. I see what's going on. I get it now. But then again, we've been lied to and duped so many times by these people that it's like, you're like, no,
Yeah,
they'll
it's been
figure it out.
a long time without restitution or
Yeah.
not without justice of some sort. But there are a few things we're winning at, but
Yeah, there really is.
there's a lot that we're winning at in the courts and everything. It's just that it's overwhelming. They go for quantity of litigation versus quality.
Mm-hmm. And that's all for deception. It's all for deception and lies and
It's not going to
distortion.
survive.
No, it's not. It can't. And
Right.
and we're just like, we see you. We can clearly see you. They don't care. They don't, or that one person in particular doesn't care. I don't know what everybody really feels, but I can see him. He makes it very clear every day how he does not care about anybody, so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Denise, oh my landers, have
Mhm.
we been lied to? Um, I hear you, Linda, on that. I do understand. I notice also, though, we're sweet enough to tell you the reason that I concern myself with keeping an open mind to the people who've been supporting who Donald Trump. They surround me. I live in the South.
Yeah.
I'm in the deep South, and I mean like little
Smiling.
itty
They
bitty
have
town.
guns.
And it's such a pleasure to get to a randomly though encounter, and I have had the pleasure surprising 2 times, two times, a handful of times where I've met people that I wouldn't have thought would be on the "Are you kidding me, Donald Trump?
I
Are you
know.
freaking kidding me?" train. But there are a few around here. But of the ones that aren't, I still have to love them. They're my neighbors.
I
Mhm.
have
I'm required.
I
Mhm.
have I have a neighbor that's like a gazillion years old, Dale. I've said this before. He's a hoot. And so I was talking to him about early on, a while ago, where they're talking about cutting Social Security. And I said, why are you watching this garbage? Fox News. That's not being very loving. Why are you watching this garbage? He goes, well, I just want to stay involved. And I says, what about them cutting Social Security? And he says, well, now that I think about it, I said, don't even say it, Dale. I said, you are 1,000 years old. You have gotten every penny you ever put into that thing. And now you say, cut it. I'm not listening to you anymore. He laughed. But every time I bring up the reality of what he's saying, he agrees with me. But Fox News is always over there. He's old
Mhm.
guy, just used to that clutter.
Well, it's like that, and let's face it, they are very racist, sexist. Just that the South. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that living in the South. The South's going to rise again. You're just like,
I was hearing that in my mind this past week. I
really?
stumbled across something. I'm going to determine how to handle it. I thank the Holy Spirit. I came across a Confederate flag that
Mm.
sort of has fallen into my possession, in that it's in a place that I now have, and I don't know quite what to say about it. There's this little, I was thinking all sorts of torturous things to do to it. And what I came up with is along the lines of, if I even dignify this thing with that much hatred,
Right.
am I actually empowering it, even as I, kind of condemn it to the ashes? Is it
I'd say
even
no.
worth it?
Burn
And
it.
I don't know if I don't want to just throw it in the garbage under,
You bury it.
I don't know what to do exactly, but I have heard that phrase because as soon as I came across that flag, I started remembering how many times I've heard that. The South will rise again. Why would you want to? Don't you feel awful?
No, see,
Don't
this is
you feel
this
so
is
bad
the
about
point.
everything that happened here?
No,
I,
Katie, this is the point. They don't feel awful. They loved having slaves. They loved women as a third class citizen. They did some horrible things to slaves and women. Horrible.
what
And
dummies.
but see, this is that soul's journey, right? Obviously they still want the South to rise again. Well, they can keep playing this out, but you and me and Deborah and everybody here are raising the frequency, and they can play all they want. I can't watch that anymore. I mean, say, how could you? Because I used to think, oh my goodness, if they just saw the truth and they could feel they'd have feelings for somebody else. They don't care. They don't have feelings. And I hate to say that about anybody, but I know what you're saying, and I know that wish of seeing it, but it's
I used to always go into this place where I'd imagine like a really awful human being. I'd imagine them getting in a situation where they're like basically broken and need someone who happens to come of the light. Somebody of the light comes and shows them mercy and compassion and awakens their heart. And I'm not saying I don't think it can happen, but I do recall one time I was guided specifically to give a message to someone. I didn't know what the message was, but I was told to turn to a certain page in a Christian Bible. And in that page, it was talking about, okay, sometimes a man does a lot of wickedness and then becomes good. Sometimes a man does a lot of good, but then does something wicked. What matters is when God looks. When God looks in. And then I'm thinking, we'll do the best we can for everybody, but I don't need to worry about it, because the people that just would take all that to become harmoniously aligned and balanced and kind and good, well, it just depends when God looks. And I think God's taking a lot of looks now. I think God's really looking a lot these days.
Yeah, that complaint box got filled. I want to say my condolences. Whoops. Just a moment. We've got Karen Robinson here, Valerie Techry. Carol died. He was a French actor I met. I'm sorry for your loss. That must be out of the blue, but I got to tell you, every time there's a change in season, I think people do leave the planet.
29-degree Pisces. Yeah, that's definitely leave the planet. That's water, right? We just saw the hurricane in Jamaica. We see the flooding in Brooklyn yesterday. I mean, that's just like, that is going to continue, because you got to think Mother Earth is cleansing herself at that 29-degree Pisces, which is, to me, Pisces is spirit. Neptune in Pisces is spirit, to be clear. So that to me is, and this is who is cracking open everybody, right, Katie? And they're giving those people the here, look, you could have empathy. You could care about children eating or children being zip tied, but they aren't doing it. And I think to myself, how much can you stand to watch? And they're like rooting for it in the chats, and I'm just like, oh my, where it's like, remember when we were talking a couple weeks ago about the parasites? Like, it's just part of the parasite class, and it's time to everybody to be loved and cared for.
Isn't that something? So this Karen, this speaks highly of your heart and intuition. You've been thinking about someone, and I believe he was thinking about you.
Oh, I love the femme Nikita. Oh, which guy was he? Which French guy? I'm sorry, I didn't know who you meant. Yeah, she has she's very talented artist, and she writes plays, writes books, and has met many, many, many actors for where she used to work in Hollywood. So she has a real and a good memory of all those interactions that occurred, and really cool moments, So, yeah, I love that from Nikita. Again, there's a resistance type of energy coming up. I love how that just came out of nowhere, because that's what that is. That's the resistance against tyranny. And we met and took his hand, and it was like a lightning socket. Whoa. Was he the hot younger one back then? Well, shoot, I'm talking about 20 years ago.
It was cancer. How old? How old was he?
Right, oh my goodness, Texas, Tennessee, they're all nuts. I don't know. It's a shame. in the backwoods. It's kind of.
You know what? I keep seeing this thing about Texas that says there's like 8 million registered Democrats in Texas
Yeah.
and 6 million registered Republicans.
Oh.
And so it's saying we're not a red state, we're a
gerrymandered.
A gerrymandered state. And
So,
that's like one of the biggest things that we probably don't have any time to talk about. But that's one of the biggest things, just the corruption. It really just comes down to corruption. It really just comes down to that.
It's the message. It's the message from Reagan era, when he got rid of the fairness doctrine in journalism. That opened the door for Fox News Entertainment to come in, and they've been systematically just pumping out lies and distorted information to this whole group of people who, at the time, we didn't really understand. They weren't funding their education in the red states as they were in the blue states. So now we have this huge disconnect of these people really don't know the facts, and they don't know how to find the facts or wouldn't understand the facts even if they had them. I mean, I'm not saying ever, but it's going to take a lot of work, because they've been so distorted. They've been so brainwashed, and so, I mean, they hate them. And I'm like, what in the world did we do? You gave you a 40-hour work week. We got everybody rights and freedoms. You think that would be a really cool thing, No, they hate us for it. Black people shouldn't have any special preference. And if you guys didn't own slaves for so long, maybe they wouldn't have needed to be, But you see how they twisted it all. It's all been twisted and.
Well, not anymore. That's the thing with Aquarius coming in. It's literally a new day. So this week was, because it's almost over, was an 8 energy week. So when you were going forward with things, it was like walking through mud.
Yeah.
Next week is going to be a 9 energy week. So that means when you just need to, it's like instead of just helter-skelter throwing things out, transmute the mud, because you're carrying some really good things.
That really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, transmute the mud and start. You give up the belief that you're held back, and entertain the thought that you're a racehorse now. But
and that 9, right, it will pop. To me, something is coming to the top, to the surface, especially in Scorpio season, that affects us all. That's got to be seen. I mean, we've been seeing it, right? And to me and you and Kaylee and everybody here, we look at the news and we're like, okay, I don't need any more convincing. How much worse could it get? And you got these people who don't even, they don't care. They don't see it as a problem.
That's the burden of a light worker.
I know, but it's like, how can you hate so much? And how could you hate so much? I just don't get it. But here we are. And it's all because of misinformation. It's not that I hate them. I don't hate them. I want them to find their heart and really see the truth, But the truth has been hidden from them for so long. And it's unfortunate, because it ruined a lot of people's lives on both sides, all sides.
Yeah, I sure do. I think we've solved all of the world's problems. Mm-hmm. And you two must have, you're exhausted from all that you've done today. How many hours have you been online? 3.5, 4?
Well, 4.5, about 4. We got on at 6 at my time, Eastern, so it's 10:30. Oh, I don't know. I feel good today. It was one of those days where it was like, everything's coming.
A lot to talk about, yeah.
It really is. It's a lot. And Like yesterday, I really wasn't in a good place. You know how you got to just go through those moments where you're processing, and I know that that's the cool thing. At least now I understand when that's happening what it is. But
Yeah.
even still, I had to ask my guides, like, are you saying this? No, it was parasites coming in, you know? So be careful of the parasites because they're going to be out. They're out and about in the Scorpio season, but they're coming out to be exposed, to be acknowledged so they can dissipate. It's not like anything's coming to get you. It's parasites. Yes. Observe, not absorb.
Yeah. Observe, not absorb. I like that.
Mm,
I'm going to steal that from you.
mm.
How many people are in Seattle? Oh my gosh. It's a lot of people in Seattle. I came from North Seattle.
Oh, and the Texas thing? Like this is what and they kept now they've been gerrymandering, but not only have they been gerrymandering, they have been manipulating the election results. They should not have a whole Republican full at all. They know that they've thrown out votes. And anybody that's got to constantly throw out votes and gerrymander and do all this, you know you don't have a good message. Why don't you
But you
just
know, I got to tell you, yeah, that's right. But for years, gerrymandering's been around, right? And for
yeah,
years, we've known,
yeah,
the general population, have stood and watched
yeah.
Republicans do that. They're brave. They don't care. They're just going to do it. And so Democrats see this. We're learning in our own, or liberals, I'll just say, people who are center and left of that, are learning how to find their voice.
Well, it's. I think it shocked a lot of us because we were like, nobody can be that devious,
I
right?
know.
And then there they were, that devious, and looking you in the face, telling you they hate you for what you believe in, and you're just like, damn, really? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
this isn't the first time they've gerrymandered. So I
oh
want to
no,
just make sure that we understand each other. When we say, because we can point to gerrymander and say it's very, very, very bad what they've done.
well, they've
What
all done it in every
they've
state,
done it for decades.
yeah, in every
And
state.
the other party had kumbaya, let's love and trust in their hearts, I believe, because it's harder to fight against it. Now we have to.
Yeah.
Uh,
We were hoping over time that people would really, really wake up. I mean, and then they started joking you because you're woke, because you have compassion and empathy, and you're just like, okay, there's no getting through to that. Now, again, I'm not going to cut anybody off, but I'm not going to try to convince them that that's a lie or that's not true. It's so. I mean, and you see what that top 1%, I think Leah put that in, that top 1% dictated and brainwashed those people. So now they hate us. They don't even look up at who's caused the issue. They don't even at all acknowledge
until
that.
the issue hurts them.
Yeah, until it
And
hurts.
that's what's happening. And so it's a circle. You just say, I can't
Yeah.
believe they're doing such crappy stuff. And but if they didn't do such crappy stuff, the enlightenment wouldn't be there. It's a hard time to not be awake.
Yeah. It's
It
a
is
hard time to be awake.
yeah, it is, because we've known this for our whole adult lives, right? As light workers, our whole adult life, we've been working on it, where others are just kind of waking up to it and they're just
Yeah,
starting.
it's crazy.
But one of the hardest, so if I'm confronted with someone who says something I can't believe, I would never say that's wrong. I would say, I feel sorry for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Because that's what I feel sorry for, how they've chosen to view the world.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to say something,
Yeah.
that's a good one. So they'll get mad. but that statement will not leave them.
Mm-mm.
And
That's
they
like,
will quietly start looking around the corner.
yes, like when you tell a kid, I'm disappointed in you, that, because that's what gets them thinking. Hopefully
Yes.
they're looking around the corner, just like you said.
Yeah. Oh,
But I mean, it's been playing out long enough. And what? America's 250 years old, and we're having our America's return, Pluto return, and now we're coming out the other end of that. Aw.
you say no comment. I love that. Bora is here with her jack-o'-lantern. Yeah. What?
I mentioned this just really simply. Leah, you asked a question a little bit ago, and I've sort of had it going through my mind for a bit here. You were asking about preparing. I just want to remind us all that we come into this world without having a clue. And we do get a lot of education along the way. We get a lot of training and conditioning or schooling. But what we really lack is the perspective of faith that doesn't hurt. So give yourself an idea that there is such a perspective, faith that doesn't hurt, and give an understanding to others whenever you get an opportunity to give that. And remind yourself that this is coming around to a very, very good understanding for us all. So don't fear it, and watch it all with a little bit of wonder.
And we all have each other.
Yeah, and that's so important. I wouldn't have made it the last 5 years without you, without this community.
Yeah.
That I didn't even know existed, until
I know, isn't it? And you had to be brave.
Yeah.
And we both had to be brave. We all three had to be brave and like turn on that record button or go live.
Oh my
For the
gosh.
first time. Oh my God. And everyone was so kind. I remember that.
Yeah.
So kind when I started, because I messed up so often. And Leah says, thank you, Kaylee.
Yeah. I mess up. I still mess up.
Yeah. Yeah, but we've got friends. They're not just viewers. They are our family.
That's true.
And they'll crack jokes. They'll definitely tell us what. Oh, okay. Well, we've been on a while. Sorry I didn't get to any of the questions, but I love these lively conversations. We all get our opinions out. And, the three of you rock, is what she says. Thank you. I can't thank everyone enough. And Seb, you gave me a donation. I appreciate that so much. I live off the kindness of others right now. Yes, we are. We're tribe, definitely. Yeah. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being a subscriber and a member. And we will see you again very soon. Now, Fridays at 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. And then at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, Lalit and I are on. And I have to do one more thing. Wait. One more thing. Where is it? I have it here. Here it is. Ta-da! My book.
Oh, that is so cool.
I know. I got to advertise my little book. And so there's a QR code over here. It'll take you to Amazon. And it has launched. And in the show notes, there's a link to have the audio version, just about 30 minutes of the audio version. And I haven't gotten my order yet. I ordered some author copies, but they take a month because I'm the author, not the consumer. So if you order it, it'll be next day. But if I order it, so once I get my box, I'll start giving them away.
Oh, that is so cool.
Thank you so much.
I mean, Debra pulled out 2 books this year. Roger.
Yes, I did.
I don't even know. I mean, the
Yeah,
details are the things that you got to know how to do them, because it's self-publishing now, right? Everything is.
self-publishing. But you know what? I've had to email because when I try and do something and something goes wrong, and then I read the templates and then something goes wrong and it just doesn't work, then I'm like a Karen. Sorry to all Karens, but when I type blah blah blah, blah blah, and then they tell me what to do. That doesn't work, so I blah 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 back, and so I thought I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person that the customer service says, "Oh, it's her again." But soon I will know exactly the steps. So if anybody wants to publish, I can help them.
Oh, that is so cool to offer that. Oh man,
Absolutely,
that's awesome.
absolutely.
That's a
Well,
lot. A
it's
big
fun.
deal.
That's
So,
awesome.
thank
Yeah.
you so much. I'm going to say goodnight to my Eastern girls and all of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you
Love
soon.
y'all.